What's going on, everybody? This is Martel McFly bringing you another Minecraft video, and this will be part 3 of my Let's Play series here on Trumu's Full Survival World. And since we last left off, we had a little bit of a run-in with another nation, specifically Russia, run by BM Little Man. He left us a little gift basket here containing, some pretty awesome items. We got gold blocks, diamonds, golden apples, potions of regeneration, his flag even, but what I'm most interested in is actually his peace treaty he left us here. So we're going to give it a quick read and see what the Russians have to offer for peace. This gift is a demonstration of peace. We the Russians are undoubtedly the strongest nation in full survival history, and we hope to befriend our fellow nations. But in response to the recent burnings of our flags, we will not put up with acts of terrorism such as this. Do not mistake our kindness for weakness. Sincerely, Vladimir Little. Now, personally, if you ask me, that does not really sound like a peace treaty, more of a passive-aggressive threat. So to combat this and prepare for the future, it is due time we start beefing up the defenses here at Timber Creek, starting with the harbor. So I'll be cleaning up the area down below where I initially landed, and so it's kind of messy and dirty, and just laying out docks, walls, watchtowers, any defensive things like that, and actually having my buddy Trumu come in and build some more ships for us so we can have some naval powers. Anyways, guys, let's get straight into the building today. But before we get into the building, we actually ran into a new development here down by the harbor, and that is a wanted poster for BM Little Man. Wanted for the murder of Bing Bang Bung and some cattle. Last seen, Moscow, Russia. Reward $80. So this happened off camera, so you guys would not know, and it actually happened while I was away from the server for a few days, but he actually came into our city here and murdered all of our cows, only leaving one lonely man to tell the tale. It was through Trumu's detective work and that cow's testimony that we were actually able to determine that it was indeed Little, so I was expecting that gift basket to actually be an apology, but as you guys know, it was not really an apology. So anyways, I just wanted to share that little backstory with you guys, and now let's do some building. So this project started more or less the same as any other project goes, and that is starting by clearing out the area. But since this was where I initially landed when I founded Timber Creek, there's a little bit more junk to deal with other than just flattening it out or terraforming it. I had to get rid of the farm that I made initially. I had to weed out most of the cows, leaving a few so that I could rebreed them when they got to the new area that I'm moving them to. Take down these chests with a bunch of random items, store the ones that I kind of needed. Dirt's nice to have, and any other miscellaneous stuff that's in there I put back in my storage room. Then I got rid of this rail system that is left over for when I was attempting to do my villager system, but ended up scrapping that because frankly it wasn't entertaining to me and I just wanted to get straight into the building. From there, I made sure to take down the wanted poster with great care, retrieve the item frame, and then put it up on the front door of the harbor master's quarters and began laying out the city. I like to use dirt because it's in abundance, and it's just a way for me to kind of put my thoughts on the ground and kind of figure out how everything is going to fit together. So I started out by placing the docks and kind of what the positions I wanted them in. Then once I was happy with that, I began working on the outer walls and kind of the overall dimension and shape that the harbor was going to end up taking. And along the way, I kept running into the pesky Phantom attacking me, but we'll get to him later. Obviously, I had to do some reworks here and there because you're not going to get it right the first time. Filled in a few poles that I needed to patch up as well. Almost got RKO'd from the top ropes by the Phantom there, but in the end I did get my revenge. Overall, I'm really happy with how this layout turned out with the 3 docks there at the top, and the overall shape is really cool and interesting. It's not just a boxy square layout, so as we move along and actually fill in these rectangles with actual structures, it's going to create for a really cool feel as you're walking through the city. So the first structure I wanted to nail down was the docks themselves, because once I had a good solid design for the first dock, I could copy that over to the other 3. So I started with some spruce stairs and putting some stone bricks down on top, removed the middle block so that it would be an area where the boats could dock themselves, and added some slabs on the bottom to create more layers and texture, and finished off with some stone brick walls on top. I started by doing a border of cobblestone and then filling that in on the edges with some spruce stairs, so you get that little bit of a lip with the stairs there at the bottom. Filled the middle in with spruce planks, but in the end I decided to take away the cobblestone because I think it looked out of place, and I ended up replacing that with stone bricks to kind of make it more uniform with the design itself overall. From there, I began work on the outer wall so I could try to connect it as well as I could with the existing dockmaster's quarters there, and just build up a couple of blocks just to get the overall shape. Still took a step back to see how it connected, to see if it looked funky, and was actually very happy with it, so I continued onwards. Now we're going to start the gates of the docks themselves, so just pillaring up with some spruce blocks, and then starting to make the overarching bridge itself, because I didn't want it just to have to be flat. It looks kind of boring, so I'm trying to get some curves mixed in there. So I started with a 3 wide walkway, because that's how I like to keep my walls. It's not too wide, it's not too skinny. I think that's a good middle ground right there. And once I got the curved arch that I was pretty happy with, I began to do some detail work on it. Threw in the stairs so you could actually use this, and it was a functional arch. Took out the middle blocks of the bridge itself and replaced them with fences so that we could have the actual gate on the bridge itself. Threw some spruce planks over the top of them so you will not see them, and began working on the railing of the bridge. It's a pretty simple design, just going 1 block out of what the bridge is itself and following the same curve pattern, and then having some stone brick slabs to be the railing itself. Did a quick check to make sure I wasn't messing up, and finally finished that off. Took a step back, was happy with the overall design of it, just needed a few more touch-ups, so I was adding these spruce logs to be more like support beams, and also the edge of the gate itself, so it actually looked like it was a functioning gate. Continued to do some detailing work along the bridge itself, just kind of figuring out where I wanted the stone to be and where I wanted the spruce to be. Ended up taking out some of these stone bricks and replacing them with the chiseled bricks, again just to create more interest throughout the build, so it's not all just the same blocks. Took another step back, was happy with it, and from there I started working on the other docks. Now with these other 2 docks, I initially had them pretty close together and it looked a little funky, so I decided to actually combine them into one large dock. I think that was a move that was really good because I ended up using that big dock for my warship and the other dock for the smaller boats like the merchant ships and fishing boats. I copied the same bridge design, not exactly because it is a bit longer, but the same curves for this bridge over on this gate. Ran into a few issues, but overall was happy with it, and then I began making what I would call like a middle watchtower. Since this is a bigger area, a bigger dock, I didn't think I wanted to have the gate be the entire span because I think it would look boring and lame, so I decided to put a small little tower in the front there. I started working on the walls here and just how they would look. Just real quickly, nothing finalized yet, and then started working on the tower itself. This is going to be the typical roof design you're going to see for a lot of the builds here in Timber Creek. I'm a big fan of this roof. I think it looks really nice. You just kind of play with the stairs and the block stair combo as you're going up there, and it creates really nice high peaks, and then finishing off obviously with a stair on top. Taking a step back, I think it's starting to really come together, so now we're going to finish up this roof and this building here just to kind of finish it all off. This area right here is going to be the, I guess, watchtower for the dock itself, allowing guards to stand up there. Finishing off the roof here with some spruce. It's not all stone, you see a little bit of the spruce logs in there. Now I'm trying to connect the secondary roofs on the outside, so it's not just 2 sides to the roof, it actually has all 4, just creating more interest in the shape of the build itself. Again, you'll see me doing the same roof design, just a little bit smaller because the area I have to work with is a little bit smaller. Connecting the sections of the roof together with spruce stairs, and taking another step back, taking down this pillar and starting to do the design of this wall. It's similar to the other walls because obviously you want to keep the same style going out through the entire build. Next on my list was I started throwing up the watchtower on the far right hand side of the docks. It's a similar design to the other tower, but the big difference is not only did I did 1 layer of the roof as you see me constructing here, but I actually decided to throw up a second layer behind it to create a little bit more of a secondary texture in the background. It's an experimental thing that I've tried out in a few builds, but I think I've perfected it in the past couple weeks, and I think the result was very, very nice. Alrighty, here we are, guys, at the conclusion of this week's Let's Play episode on Full Survival. And we have a pretty awesome start here on the harbor itself. We have both docks completed on either side here. We have the gates of each dock looking pretty good in how we want them. We have the watchtowers overlooking the bay itself. And to top it all off, we have our very own warship docked at the front here, along with two other small fishing boats there with our flags hanging high on each, along with our flags and our newly formed alliance with True Moo and the Second Order. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode on Full Survival, and I hope to see you guys next week. Peace.